Ladies, if you're about to undergo a hysterectomy or you've had one recently, you're not going to want to miss what I'm about to tell you. Now, many women come to me, they'll ask questions about what should I do to return to exercise? And I just got asked this last week. And when women ask, what should I avoid or what should I do after hysterectomy surgery? Well, their doctor is not necessarily going to know the guidance to tell them what the physical signs are or symptoms that are very common afterward and how to progress back into exercise. So keep watching this video if you want to know how I tell my clients as a pelvic floor physical therapist what to do and what not to do after a hysterectomy. And I'm going to go over those 5 tips, what not to do. And recently a woman asked me, well, I'm 8 weeks post-surgery and I'm ready to start getting back into some exercise. I'm starting to feel a little bit better and my doctor has cleared me. What should I worry about or what shouldn't I do? So I'm going to go over those today. I love this question because I want to know, first off, what type of hysterectomy you had. Was it a laparoscopic surgery? Did they go in through the vaginal area or abdominal area? That may affect your recovery time and also some of the things that I will tell you today. But that was the number one question that I would ask my client, or if somebody asked me that question, what type of hysterectomy they had. And number 2, they did get clearance from their doctor. So you want to make sure that you do have that post-op appointment with your doctor and they have cleared you from any other medical reason of why you shouldn't start exercise again. So your experience might be a little bit different, but I'm going to give you some general guidelines and what can help you and lead you in the right direction of what not to do after a hysterectomy. So the first thing is not pulling your belly button in all the time. When women start doing abdominal exercises, or maybe they've gone to a Pilates class or they're trying some videos online and core exercises are taught to pull in the navel and tighten the muscles all the time. Well, that is something you should not do after a hysterectomy all the time. Now, there's a time and a place for those abdominal contractions, and it's great to start doing them again. But it's a misconception that women think that they have to pull in their navel and tighten their abs all the time. This can actually put a lot more pressure down on your pelvic floor, and where you're healing, and I can show you on a model here. Here is your pelvis and those pelvic floor muscles at the bottom, and the pelvic organs sit within that cavity here. Well, these pelvic floor muscles have gone under a little trauma and stress, and so the healing is important to take place. But if you're tensing and tightening the abdominal wall and pulling in against there, it's going to put pressure, unnecessary pressure, downward on that area and can even put stress on the bladder or create some pelvic pain. So it's good to start just some breathing exercises, and on your exhale you're thinking of contracting and tensing the muscles, but then make sure you're letting it go on the inhale. So that would be the first one I'd say, is not pulling in your abdominals all the time and thinking of tensing those muscles all the time. So the next thing that I like to tell my clients is not to jump right into planks or crunches for abdominal work. Now, I mentioned breathing exercises and doing some isolated abdominal work, which is really fabulous after having any kind of abdominal surgery, or even if you had a vaginal laparoscopic type of hysterectomy. Now, because those exercises are going to put a lot of stress and tension, so breathing exercises are going to be important to work the core, and you want to think of trying some exercises that are not going to put a lot of stress and tension, especially if you have an abdominal incision there. And planks and crunches can do just that. So I like to give my clients a set of breathing exercises with isolated abdominal contraction and moving the legs, like in some simple marches or leg lifts, or even side planks instead of straight regular planks on your stomach. Going into a side plank is going to work one side of the body and put less stress and tension downward on the pelvic floor. So that could be something you swap out for doing the traditional ab exercises when you are trying to recover that area and get stronger again. And if you've had an abdominal incision, then you definitely want to go check out my video that's all about healing scar tissue after surgery. It's going to be important for even if you have small portal sites from a laparoscopic surgery or a full total hysterectomy with an abdominal incision. You want to go back and watch that video after this about healing your body with a scar tissue and helping repair your body after having any kind of scar tissue. It's going to be a really important part of starting to integrate those things into the abdominal work that you need to do. Then number 3 is heavy lifting. Now, I'm not talking about lifting a milk jug or maybe your laundry basket. I'm talking about people that go back to lifting maybe a heavy child, maybe children, grandchildren, any toddlers. Now, it's hard when the doctor says, okay, don't lift more than 10 pounds, and then all of a sudden they clear you for exercise and you have to lift a 60-pound child or something. Maybe you go back to a job with more manual labor and doing more intense work. So going from 0 to 60 overnight is not smart. You want to gradually build that up. So working with someone that can guide you in the right direction of starting to repair and heal that whole core area and gradually work up to doing some weighted squats, some weighted exercises that are going to get you used to it. So maybe in the first 3 weeks cleared toward exercise, you'll start lifting some light weights and then gradually build it from there. So people that go back to heavy lifting, they can put themselves at risk for having a prolapse bladder or having any extra pain or discomfort that maybe their body wasn't ready for. So that's one thing that you want to watch out for, is not overdoing the heavy lifting. The next one is running. Now, some women may feel more ready than others, but overall running is going to provide a lot of extra compression downward on your pelvic floor area here, and a lot of that jolting from running or impact is going to have your muscles need to respond a little bit better. So if you feel like you can't do a single leg sit to stand from a chair, or you can't do jump roping in place without some symptoms or uncomfortable feeling the next day, or even bladder leaking, those are red flags to tell you that your body is not ready yet for the impact of running. And like I mentioned in the last one with heavy lifting, it's something you want to gradually work up to. I would go to a fast-paced walk, even incline, something where you're progressing to go back to running. And strengthening has to be a huge part of that. So your glute muscles, your core, anything to do with the pelvic area and strengthening is going to be really important to return to running, because that load when you're running is going to put pressure down in that area. It can set you up for future injury or side effects from a hysterectomy if your body's not ready for it. So it may be up to a year. It may be shorter than that. It may be longer. Everybody's going to be a little bit different, but you definitely want a good, thorough strengthening program to ramp you back up to running after a hysterectomy. Then the last one that I'm going to tell you what not to do too early is heavy squatting. And I have clients that are weightlifters or like to get back into the gym, but this is a position where when you're doing squatting, you're opening up that pelvic cavity, and therefore it's kind of stretching and creating more pressure downward on the pelvic floor. If you're underweight, like using a weighted bar or using heavy kettlebells or dumbbells, or even lifting anything and setting it back down on the floor, if that's part of your job or your daily tasks, well, your pelvic floor is going to be under some stress with that. So when I mention lifting and lifting your kids or grandkids, it's under the same notion that heavy squatting, you want to definitely start with body weight work and work your way up to some light weights and then gradually to something heavier. Now, body weight exercises are a great way to stay in shape, get your glutes strong, or even some lunges, different exercises where you can start integrating one leg and doing single leg activities before adding any extra weight from there. So as a general rule, I tell my clients maybe 5 to 10 pounds to start you're doing body weight exercises at 6 to 8 weeks post-op, and then gradually working into that 5 to 10 pounds and then moving it up from there. Now, with all of this advice that I've given you, like I mentioned, it's good to make sure that you're cleared by your surgeon to return back to any exercises. But I find that these are the top things that women struggle with or maybe jump back into too quickly. Now, there's so many other things that you can do for your body in that recovery stage from a hysterectomy. And if you want to find out more, I would love for you to comment below, tell me what you learned, and also follow our channel for more videos related to post-hysterectomy care. If you're not subscribed already, hit that subscribe button, and we'd love to update you more when we have other videos just like this about women's health topics and exercise tips to make you feel like your strongest and best self. Thanks for watching.